Okay, welcome back everybody. Today we're going to be making, because it's prom season coming up, we're going to do corsages, boutonnieres, whatever you want to call them. For this project we're going to need some paper of whatever color you want to do. In this case I'm going to be using a few different kinds of paper. You're going to need a glue stick, some scissors, a glue gun, or if you don't want to use a glue gun and you don't mind waiting, you can use regular school glue. But I use a glue gun just because it's much faster and I don't have to hold the flowers for about 15 minutes each time. And then to mount it, we're going to need a bar pin, or you can put it onto a barrette and wear it in your hair. Okay, to get started, we're going to be cutting out circles of whatever size you want. The bigger the circle, the bigger the flower. Pretty simple. And we're going to be cutting out ones that are about in the shape of leaves. As you see, I'm using book pages of Sherlock Holmes because I'm a giant nerd. And what you're going to do with each circle to make the flowers is you're going to cut them in a spiral. I don't like really marking it down with paper, with a pencil, just so I can choose the shape of the spiral as I go, and it really, you get to decide whether you want it even or wavy, and if you want to use textured scissors, like the ones that have scalloped edges or zigzags, that sort of thing, you can do that. So when you cut it in a spiral, you're going to notice that this little point right here, you're just going to trim that off, just so you don't have one of the petals that's going to be pointing out while the rest of them. And for this, you're going to start quilling it, or turning it in, moving towards the center. The first inch or so is going to be kind of hard to do. It's going to be annoying, frustrating, and tight. But once you start getting to about this point, you just keep rolling it, rolling it, rolling it, and so on, rolling it, rolling it, and rolling it some more, until you've gone through the whole thing. So you got something that's about like this. As you can see, we've changed paper. At this point is when you can decide if you want a tight little rosebud or a loose bloom, something like that. I'm going to go something a little loose, and then what you see here, the inner part of the spiral, which is down here, we're going to put a little dab of hot glue. Or if you want to use school glue, you can do that. It's just, you'll have to hold it a lot longer. And what you're going to do is press the middle part of the rose into the hot glue, and then let it go. And there you go, you've got one right there. And after you've done a couple in different sizes and different colors, I'm going for kind of like a steampunkish sort of brown and paper sort of motif going on. What you're going to do is cut out a couple of leaves in your accent color. Or, as you've seen in my case here, we're going to do it out of the actual book page. I have a lot of copies of books. Most of them have damaged covers, that sort of thing, so I have no problem with just recycling the pages. Alright, and so for these, you can either use you can either use the glue stick to put them together, or again, just a little drop of hot glue. And press it, hold it together until it's done. Now for this, you can decide how you want the leaves to go. I like having them in this kind of 2-point thing there. And then, just so we have a base to put it on, you can either cut out another little circle of paper, or I have these felt pads that I got in a little pack of crafting supplies, but I like doing things that you can do with stuff you've got around the house, so you don't have to pay. So, as you see here, I've backed them with the cardstock that I've used for the other flowers. This is just to make them a bit stiffer and hold steady and not curl. You don't have to do that. It just keeps it from curling and lets it stay nice and crisp. So what you're going to do is glue your little circle on here. This is just so you have a backing for the flowers. And now, just arrange them how you like. You can do as many as you like, as little as you like. The more flowers that you put would be great for a large corsage that would be pinned onto the dress strap or onto the waist, that sort of thing. This is just a little one that you can put into a hair clip or use as a boutonniere. So when you're happy with how they go, again, bring out your glue gun, a little dab of glue, and stick it on. A little dab of glue, and stick it on. Being careful not to glue onto your table. Little dab of glue, and stick it on. And there we go. We've got the main flowers and everything. Now this is where we can start decorating. I love doing ribbons, that sort of thing, because ribbons are fun. So I have these really nice organza ribbons. Organza? I'm not sure how to pronounce it. Anyway, nice pretty see-through ribbons. And what you can do is turn the piece over, and I'm doing this behind the camera. You can loop the ribbons however you want, and then this is where you decide where you want the top. So for example, if you want this to be the top, like this, then we're going to have the ribbons hanging down this way. More glue. And then stick the ribbon on. Being careful because the glue is hot and it's going to stick to your hands, as you've seen it's done here. And you can just decide how long you want it to go. Set it off. And there you go. See the ribbon hanging down? Now this is where we can either put a bar pin on the back, one of these things. Again, I got it in the same pack. I got the little felt pads. Or you can put it onto a hair clip. If I were going to be putting it onto a hair clip, I would be making this much bigger just because having it is sort of fascinator. This is more something just going to be pinned if it's going to be on a guy or on somebody wearing a tuxedo. This is just going to be going on the lapel. I think this is a good size here, and this is where the bar pin is going to go. Once again, we're going to turn it over, and when you've decided where your top is, more glue! In this, it doesn't really matter which direction you put the pin, but what I like about these bar pins is they have these little circles, the holes in them, that the glue will come out and it'll hold it more securely. And you pin it down and let it dry for about 30 seconds or so. And as you can see, that's pretty secure. Now what you can do for the petals here, just to kind of make them a bit more watertight, you can coat them with liquid glue like Mod Podge or a blend of school glue and water and just brush it on. It'll give it a nice glossy coat and it'll make it a bit more waterproof, so it's not going to be something that's only going to last the evening. Alright, and now with this you can do any sort of color paper, like you can do your school colors or you can match your dress. In this case, you see I used a few different colors here and I made spirals with the paper. Again, with this, you would just coat it with some liquid glue to have it hold its shape, that sort of thing. And for the back, what I did is 2 squares of the paper, and I just kind of coated them like that. And for this, I would put another circle on top just to hold these 2 pieces on a bit more securely right there. And yeah, that can go in any kind of colors, match your dress, match your date's dress, anything like that. Alright,